Welcome to Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Christina Daves, and welcome to PR Champions. Today, we are headed to Brooklyn, New York to chat with my dear friend, Barbara Abel of Abel Intermedia. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you, Christina. Delighted to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. You've been a guest on my past show that I did before. I'm so excited to have you back. Let's tell the audience a little bit about what you do with your clients so they can understand, how you fit into all of this.
Oh, well, first of all, thanks so much for having me back. What I do as a media coach is I really focus on a couple things. One is I want my clients to thrive, not simply to survive. So that's really, really important to me by understanding how they want to feel, what kind of impact they want to make, letting go of any notion of perfection, but really focusing on success and impact. It's also really important for my clients, and I think for anyone, to really look at how do we stand out as opposed to how do we fit in. And as I think I've mentioned with you before, it's not about thinking, oh my God, I have to be wildly different or just so amazingly singular. But it's really thinking about the recipe of you and all the elements of you that make you essentially who you are, and that there's no one exactly like you. And I'm a big believer in blue ocean theory that there's room for all of us. But you want to focus on all your points of differentiation, the value that you bring, what makes you different, what are you really great at? Why are you and how are you making an impact in the world?
I love that. I've followed you for years before we became friends, and I've implemented a lot of what I've learned from you. And one of the biggest things that you really work with people on, and you're very generous with your time and your podcast and the things that you give out there, but it's mindset. You need that recipe for success, but you've got to have the mindset that you're able to achieve it. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh, I would love to. And I was thinking about this when you asked me about mindset. It's so important. It's one of the three pillars of what the work that I do, because it's mindset, which can also be looked at as strategy, technique, and then practice. So in the mindset component, for many of us, when we're beginning in the space or having to do any kind of communication, which we're all doing all the time, and just to be really clear, it doesn't mean you're necessarily a public speaker. Your mindset and communicating comes into, job interviews, presentations, things that you may be doing internally where you work, as well as externally, being, on panels or how we show up in social media, et cetera, et cetera. So when we're beginning, mindset is obviously a big part of working through nerves, right? Because I want you to focus on success, not on fear, because you never want to be coming from a place of fear. But and we could talk about that, but I was really thinking deeply too, because for anyone listening, and I think that you have a very engaged and very successful audience, a trap that we could all fall into is when we're experienced, is thinking, well, I got that. I've done this a million times. I don't have to think about that. And I'm like, that is a really big trap, because the minute you say to yourself, I could do that with my eyes closed, ooh, that is not a good winning mindset. That's like, who wants to say, yeah, I do my job, I phone it in every day. That's me. I'm the phoner inner. Nobody actually wants to say that about themselves. But that's kind of what we just said in the I could do with my eyes closed. So it's so important, the mindset component. And really, simplest technique for all of us is to simply stop and check in with ourselves and ask, how am I feeling? And one of the biggest things, attention or mindset killers for successful people is being distracted, and typically distracted because we have a million things going on.
Right? I love that. I really do. And the overconfidence piece. So we only have a minute left. But if you were going to give our viewers one piece of advice, like somebody's coming into a new job, a new career, something totally different, what's one thing they can do? Because obviously when you're new, you're nervous, you're scared. What's a mindset practice that they could do to really help them for that new endeavor that they're doing?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't think I can narrow it down to one. But first of all, on a mindset level, remember that all those feelings are human and normal. And I'd be a little concerned if you weren't slightly nervous or have some sort of, butterflies thing. So number one, check in with yourself. Two, the power of breathing. and really quick meditation just to come back to a place of being centered, because you always want to be in control of your emotions, not your emotions controlling you. So you just check in your words like, I'm feeling nervous today. But remember, that's simply a feeling. You're an awesome person who happens to be feeling nervous, and it's going to help you keep you on your toes. And then the other thing too is then to identify, how do you want to feel? How do you want to show up in that day? How would you define a successful day? Because nobody hired you for your perfect. Nobody's holding it against you that you're a little bit nervous on your first day. So you want to think about, it's like, well, how do I want people to feel about me? How do I want to show up? What do I want people to know about me? What kind of impact do I want to make today?
Oh, Barbara, I love that. And as a seasoned speaker, someone who's been on the stage hundreds of times, somebody said that to me. They're like, if you don't feel butterflies, even now, something's not right. So thank you for sharing all this amazing wisdom. I so appreciate you. It was great to have you here today.
Great to see you. Thanks so much.
And to learn more about Barbara and Abel Intermedia, head on over to Daily Ad Brief. I'm Christina Daves, your host of PR Champions, and I'll see you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.